Imagine losing everything you love in the blink of an eye. Your family, your home, your joy, gone. Beatrice thought the pain was behind her until life played its cruelest trick. The man she gave her heart to was connected to the very nightmare that ruined her childhood. This is a tale where love meets betrayal, where truth cut deeper than a sword, and where destiny writes a story in tears and blood. The afternoon sun burned brightly, painting the road in gold. Inside the car, laughter flowed like music. Barrister Okoye whistled softly as he drove, while his wife turned to check on the children at the back seat. His daughter, Beatrice, 11 years old, sat proudly between her two younger siblings, holding their hands. It had been a wonderful family vacation. They had eaten, played, and made memories that would last forever. The road was almost empty when Barrister Okoye noticed something strange. A black jeep had been following them for some time. Before he could point it out, another vehicle swerved suddenly in front, blocking their way. He slammed the brakes. The car jolted and silence fell. The man with guns stormed out. "Everybody, out!" One of them barked. Fear gripped them. Barrister Okoye raised his hands, trying to stay calm. "Please, take everything. Just don't hurt my family." But mercy was far from their hearts. They dragged the family out of the car. Bags, jewelry, phones, everything was seized in seconds. Beatrice and her two younger siblings clung to their mother, trembling, praying silently for it all to end. Then her eyes fell on one man, a tall figure with a broad chest, a deep scar on his left eye. He looked at them not as human, but as prey. "End them," he ordered. The gunshot came first. Barrister Okoye collapsed instantly, blood soaking into the dust. His wife's scream was cut short by another bullet. Beatrice's siblings cried out in terror, only to fall silent forever. Beatrice herself felt fire rip through her side. She collapsed to the ground. Pain exploded through her body. Her vision blurred, her ears rang, and the world seemed to fade. She could still hear the cry laughter of the deep scars left eyes man as they drove away, leaving silence behind. For a moment, she thought it was over. Darkness closed in. But then, voice broke through the haze. Strangers ran towards the bloody scene. "Oh my God! They're all shot! Help!" Another voice shouted. "We must take them to the hospital now." Hours later, Beatrice woke up on the hospital bed, her small body wrapped in bandage, her heart torn into pieces. Her parents and siblings had all died. She alone had survived. She stared at the white ceiling with empty eyes. She didn't know whether to thank God for sparing her life or curse the world for taking away everyone she loved. Every time she closed her eyes, the sound of gunshots came rushing back, the screams of her family echoing in her ears. Her father's elder brother, Uncle Chike, walked into the room, his eyes filled with tears. He had always been a strong man, but that day he broke down. He took Beatrice's hand gently. "My child, you are not alone. From today, you are mine. I will raise you as my own daughter." And he kept his words. When Beatrice left the hospital weeks later, she moved into her uncle's home. His wife, Madam Ngozi, welcomed her with open arms. Their children, who were older than Beatrice, treated her like their sister. Slowly, she began to feel what family meant again. Uncle Chike never allowed her to lack anything. She gave her the best education. "Your father would have wanted this for you," he always said with a smile. But deep inside, Beatrice carried a scar no one could see. At night, She often woke up sweating, her heart pounding from nightmares. Sometimes she would scream in her sleep, and Madame Ngozi would rush in to comfort her, holding her until she calmed down. Her uncle's home became a place of love and laughter. She missed her parents deeply. She missed her siblings' voice, their laughter, their innocent fight. Sometimes she sat alone in her room, holding the holy photograph that survived the robbery, a family picture from their vacation. Tears would fall onto the picture, ruling the faces she loved most. One day, when she was about 15, Uncle Chike sat her down. His face was serious, his eyes searching hers. Beatrice, I know you are still carrying the pain of that day, but I want you to remember something. Life did not end with your parents. You are alive because God has a purpose for you. Don't let bitterness destroy that purpose. Beatrice nodded quietly. She wanted to believe him. She wanted to let go of the anger and fear. But in the deepest part of her heart, she knew the memory of the scarred-faced man would never leave her. Her uncle gave her the best life he could. She grew in love, care, and comfort, but the scar of her childhood remained like a shadow, following her everywhere. Years passed quickly. Beatrice grew into a beautiful, intelligent, and graceful young woman. Her uncle kept his promise, giving her the best education and care. By the time she graduated from the university, she was one of the best graduating students in her class. Everyone admired her brilliance and strength, but very few knew the pain she had carried since childhood. After graduation came her youth service. Beatrice was posted to a different state, far from her uncle's home. At first, she was nervous living alone, starting fresh, but she saw it as an opportunity to build her own life. That was where she met Ade. It happened one hot afternoon during their community development service. Beatrice was sitting under a tree with other corps members when a tall young man walked by, carrying a pile of files. His smile was warm, his steps confident, and his eyes seemed to notice everything around him. "Excuse me," he said, stopping to ask her for directions. His voice was calm but firm. Beatrice pointed him to the office, and he thanked her with a smile that lingered longer than it should. From that day, their paths crossed again and again. Soon, conversations turned into friendship, and friendship slowly blossomed into something deeper. Ade was different. He was caring, gentle, and thoughtful. He noticed the small things about Beatrice, how her eyes sparkled when she laughed, how she always tried to encourage others, how she carried herself with dignity. She, on the other hand, admired his kindness and humility. Weeks turned into months. They began to spend more time together, studying, planning community projects, sharing meals, and talking about their dreams. Ade would often tell her, "Beatrice, you are not like other people I know. There is something strong and pure about you." His words warmed her heart. Beatrice felt safe with him, something she hadn't felt in years. She began to believe that maybe, just maybe, she could build a new life free from the shadows of her past. But Ade was not just an ordinary young man. He was the only son of Chief Olawale, a wealthy and powerful politician. His family had influence and riches beyond imagination. Despite his background, Ade was humble and hardworking. He wanted love, not wealth, and he found it in Beatrice. One evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the sky orange, Ade held her hands gently. "Beatrice," he whispered, "I don't care about money or power. I care about you. I want a future with you." Her heart raised. For the first time since that tragic day years ago, she allowed herself to dream of love again. She smiled softly, tears shining in her eyes. I feel the same way, Hadi. Their love grew strong, pure, and unshakable, like the morning sun that rises after a long, dark night. The parade ground was alive with excitement. White uniform glistening under the sun. Music filled the air, and corps members hugged one another as they celebrated the end of their service year. Beatrice stood proudly among them, her heart bubbling with happiness. But the brightest moment came when Ade walked towards her, a smile wider than ever. Before she could ask where he had been, he dropped to one knee, holding out a small velvet box. "Beatrice," he said, his voice trembling with emotion, "you are my sunshine, my best friend, my love. Will you marry me?" The crowd gasped, then shouted loudly. Beatrice's eyes widened as tears filled them. For a moment, she could hardly breathe. Then she nodded quickly, her lips shaking with joy. "Yes, yes, Ade, I will." The air erupted with shouts, claps, and songs. Ade slipped the ring on her finger and pulled her into his arms. It was a moment Beatrice never thought she would live to see. A moment of pure love after years of pain. Life after youth service seems like a dream. Beatrice secured a good paying job in a reputable company. Her dedication and brilliance quickly earned her respect in her workplace. Ade, on the other hand, began walking in the footsteps of his father. Politics called to him, and though he was young, his charisma and intelligence drew people to his side. He often told Beatrice, "I want to make a difference, not just sit on my father's wealth." She admired his ambition and supported him with all her heart. For years, their love grew stronger. They went on dates, talked about the kind of home they would build together. Ade was at peace, her laughter, and her tomorrow. Yet, there was a shadow Beatrice had never shared with him. The memories of that day, the robbery, the gunshots, the blood still haunted her. She had never spoken about it to anyone except her uncle. The pain was buried deep inside, locked away like a secret too heavy to share. But love has a way of pushing secrets into the light. One quiet evening, after dinner, Beatrice sat across from Ade. Her hands trembled slightly as she stared at him. "Ade, there's something I need to tell you," she whispered. His eyes softened. "You can tell me anything, Beatrice. You know that." And so she began. Slowly, painfully, she told him everything. The vacation that turned into tragedy, the armed men, the cruel face with scar, the gunshot, the hospital, the fact that she alone had survived while her parents and siblings died. Tears streamed down her cheek as the words left her mouth. Her voice shook, breaking under the weight of the memory. For a long time, Ade said nothing. His eyes glistened, his chest rising and falling heavily. Then, without a word, he pulled her into his hands. "I'm so sorry you went through that," he whispered, his voice choked with emotion. "No child should ever face such pain. But Beatrice, you are not broken. You are the strongest woman I know. And I promise you, with me, you will never face darkness alone again." Beatrice wept in his arms, her tears soaking his shirt. Ade wept too, holding her as tightly as if letting go would make her vanish. In that moment, their hearts bled together, joined not just by love, but by shared pain. That night, Beatrice felt lighter. She had finally shared her darkest scar with the man she loved. She didn't know what the future held, but in her day's embrace, she believed love could heal anything. After 2 years of love and laughter, Ade finally decided it was time for Beatrice to meet his parents. She has chosen a soft blue gown, her hair neatly packed, her makeup simple but elegant. Ade had been excited for weeks, telling her how much his parents would love her. "Relax, my love," he whispered as he held her hands in the car. "My parents will be proud to meet the woman I want to spend my life with." Beatrice smiled, though her heart beat faster. She was nervous. Meeting the family of the wedding politicians was no small thing, but she trusted Ade's voice. When they arrived at the mansion, she was stunned by the size: tall gate, polished floors, guards standing by, and a garden so beautiful it looked like something from a dream. Ade led her inside proudly. "Dad, Mom, this is Beatrice, the woman I told you about," Ade said with a broad smile. His mother came forward first, a graceful woman with kind eyes. She hugged Beatrice warmly. "You are welcome, my dear. Ade has said so much about you." Beatrice's lips trembled into a polite smile. "Thank you, ma." But then she saw him. Standing tall in the living room was Chief Olawale, Ade's father. His face was calm, his presence commanding. But Beatrice's eyes went straight to the deep scars on his left eye. The wound around her froze. The laughter in the room dimmed. The hair grew heavy. Her heart thundered painfully against her chest. Memories came crashing back. The hot afternoon, the gunshot, the smell of blood, the sound of cruel laughter. The face she had seen before her family felt lifeless. Her hands shook violently. Her breathing turned shallow. Then, without warning, tears brewed her vision. "No, no, this can't be," she whispered. "Beatrice, are you alright?" Ade asked, stepping closer. But she couldn't answer. With a choked sob, she turned and ran out of the house, her heel clinking loudly against the marble floor. Ade called after her, but she didn't stop. She burst out of the mansion, past the guards, and into the streets, tears streaming uncontrollably down her face. That night, she cried herself to sleep. Her phone buzzed endlessly with Ade's call, but she ignored them all. How could she explain? How could she love the son of the man who had destroyed her family? Days passed. Ade grew worried, then angry, then desperate. Finally, Beatrice agreed to meet him. They sat across from each other in a quiet cafe. Ade's face was tired, his eyes full of confusion and pain. "Beatrice," he said softly, "please, tell me why. Why did you run from my house? Why have you been avoiding me? What happened?" Her lips trembling as she stared at him. For a moment, she wished she could hide the truth, but love demanded honesty, even when it hurt. With tears rolling down her cheeks, she whispered, "Ade, your father killed my family." The word hung in the air like thunder. Ade's eyes widened, his mouth falling open. "What? That's not possible." Beatrice shook her head fiercely. "I will never forget that face, Ade. The man with the scar. He was there that day. He gave the order. I saw him. I was only a child, but I remember every detail. Your father, he murdered my parents and my siblings." Ade's hands trembled. He pushed back his chair and stood, his chest rising and falling. His heart shattered in two. Torn between the woman he loved and the father he had always respected, tears filled his eyes. Beatrice, he whispered broken, do you know what you are saying? Do you know what this means? She looked at him with pain. It means the man I love is the son of the monster who destroyed my life. Silence swallowed the room. Ade turned away, wiping his tears, his words crashing down. Ade could not sleep that night. Beatrice's word echoed in his mind like a curse. Your father killed my family. The man he admired, the man who raised him, who taught him about honor and dignity, could not possibly be a murderer. Yet the pain in Beatrice's voice, the tears in her eyes, and the fear in her heart, none of it could be a lie. The next morning, he confronted his father. Dad, Ade's voice trembled as he entered the study. I need the truth. Chief Olawale looked up from his desk, calm as ever. Truth about what, son? About late Barrister Okoye's family. Ade replied. Beatrice said you killed them. She said you destroyed her life. Tell me it isn't true. Please. Dad, tell me she's lying. For a long moment, silence filled the room. The ticking of the wall clock grew louder, heavier, as though counting down to something terrible. Chief Olawale leaned back to his chair and sighed deeply. Ade, there are things in politics you are too young to understand. Ade's eyes widened. So, it's true. His father stood. Years ago, when I was struggling to claim leadership of the party, Barrister Okoye stood in my way. He was popular, strong, and the people loved him. If he had lived, I would never have risen to power. That day, I made a choice that secured our family's future. Ade staggered back, as though stabbed in his chest. You murdered innocent people, our parents, our siblings, for politics. His father's eyes grew cold. Sacrifices must be made for power, Ade. That is the world we live in. One day, when you step into politics, you will understand. No! Ade cried, tears running down his face. I will never understand. You destroyed our life. You destroyed my life. For the first time, Ade saw his father not as a hero, but as a monster. The man he loved so dearly was the very demon who haunted Beatrice's nightmares. That evening, Ade went to Beatrice, his heart torn in pieces. She was sitting by her window, staring into the night skies when he entered. Beatrice, his voice broke. Everything you said is true. My father confessed. Beatrice turned to him, her face pale, her eyes filled with sorrow. She wanted to scream, to weep, to curse, but all she felt was emptiness. Ade knelt before her, tears streaming down his face. Beatrice, I beg you, please, forgive him. Forgive me. I love you. I cannot lose you because of this. My father, he has built everything we have. If this truth comes out, our name will be ruined forever. Please, don't let this destroy us. Beatrice shook her head slowly, her lips trembling. Ade, how can I forgive the man who slaughtered my family? How can I close my eyes to the blood that bought your father's throne? Her words cut him deeper than any blade. Ades buried his face in his hands, torn between the love of his life and the loyalty to his father. Ade's heart shattered as he whispered, "Then, what becomes of us, Beatrice?" And in that moment, both of them knew that love was no longer theirs alone. It was trapped between a past soaked in blood and a future clouded with impossible choices. Beatrice could not bear the weight of what she had discovered. The nightmares of her childhood returned stronger than ever. The sound of gunshots, her mother's scream, her siblings' lifeless eyes. After so many years, the face of the man behind it all was clear. Chief Olawale, the father of the man she loved. She went to her uncle's house the next morning. Her uncle, who was sitting in the living room when she arrived. "My daughter, what is the matter? Why do you look like you have seen a ghost?" Beatrice's voice shook as she revealed everything: the proposal, the visit to Ade's family, and the horrifying truth that Ade's family was the same man who had murdered her family 15 years ago. Silence filled the room. Her uncle's hand trembled as he set down his walking stick. His eyes grew wet with tears. So, all these years, the devil had been sitting on the throne of power, walking freely, while our loved ones lay in the grave. Madam Ngozi pressed his hand against her mouth, unable to hold back sobs. Her cousin, Ikenna, who had been listening, stood up angrily. "We cannot allow this to go unpunished. We must go to the police. That man cannot continue to live like a saint when his hands drip with blood." Beatrice wiped her tears, her voice steady but pained. "And what would we tell the police? That after 15 years, we suddenly remembered who killed them? That I saw his scarred face and recognized him? Do we have evidence? Do we have witnesses? Nothing. They will laugh at us, or worse, they will protect him. He's a powerful man." Her words hung in the air like a curse. Everyone in the room knew she was right. Chief Olawale was too wealthy, too connected. The law would bend in his favor. Justice would never come through the courts. Beatrice looked at her uncle, her eyes burning with determination. "Uncle, I have suffered enough. I lost everything as a child. My parents, my siblings, my peace. That man does not deserve to breathe while my family lies in the grave. If the law cannot fight for me, then I will fight for myself." Her uncle's face tightened with fear. "Beatrice, don't say that. Vengeance belongs to God. Do not stain your hands with blood." But Beatrice shook her head. Her voice was no longer that of the broken little girl she once was. It was the voice of a woman who had made up her mind. "Uncle, that God I serve saw the pain of Abel and heard his blood cry from the ground. I believe my family's blood is still crying. And if I must be the answers to that cry, then so be it." Her family tried to stop her, but her heart was already hardened. In her mind, a dark path had opened, and she had already taken the first step. That night, Beatrice lay on the bed, staring at the ceiling. Ade's face appeared in her thoughts. The man who had loved her, the man she had once dreamt of marrying. But now, his love was chained to the very monster who had destroyed her world. The Olawale's mansion was silent that night, but inside the walls, storms were raging. Ade had not eaten, had not slept. His heart was heavy with betrayal. His father's confession was like a dagger that could not pull out. Finally, he stormed into the grand sitting room where Chief Olawale sat with his wife. His voice thundered, "Father, mother, we need to talk tonight." Chief Olawale looked up, his eyes narrowing. What is it again, Ade? Haven't I told you to let the past remain buried? Ade's chest heaved with anger. The past you buried is not past. It is murder. You killed Beatrice's family. You destroyed her life. And now you want me to leave her as if nothing happened? Do you know the pain she carries? Do you know what you turned me into? The son of a killer. His mother, elegant and calm, tried to stand between them. Ade, please lower your voice. This is your father you are speaking to. Don't let a woman make you lose your head. Ade spun towards her, his eyes blazing. Mother, do you hear yourself? Innocent children died. A whole family wiped out because of power. And you sit here defending him? Chief Olawale rose slowly, his towering figure casting a shadow. His voice was cold. You are weak, Ade. You think leadership is about love and mercy. Power demands sacrifice. I sacrificed for you, for this family, everything you enjoy, our wealth, our influence was bought with blood. One day, you will thank me. Ade's hand trembled. Tears streamed down his face. No, father. I will never thank you for blood money. You are not a leader. You are a monster. The tension snapped. Ade pulled out a gun from his pocket. The gun his father often kept in the drawer. His mother gasped, rushing towards him. Ade, no, put it down. But Ade's hand shook violently as he aimed the weapon. His father snarled, spreading his hands wide. Go on then. Show me if you are truly my son. Do it. A shot rang out. Chief Olawale staggered backward, his eyes wide with shock. Blood blazing across his chest. He collapsed into the golden armchair that has once made him look like a king. Now he looked like a fallen tyrant. No! His wife screamed, rushing to her husband's side. She turned to her son, tears streaming. Ade, what have you done? Her voice broke him further. His hands shook, and before reason could return, another gunshot echoed. His mother fell beside her husband. Ade stood frozen, the weapon smoking in his hand, his breath shallow, his words spun, two lifeless bodies at his feet, his entire existence collapsing in seconds. He dropped to his knee, sobbing. Oh God, what have I done? What have I done? Then, with a broken cry, he lifted the gun one last time. The mansion shook with a third final shot. Silence followed. By morning, the news spread like wildfire across the nation. The powerful chief Olawale, his wife, and their only son found dead in their mansion. Beatrice heard the news on the radio. Her heart dropped, her legs weakened beneath her. She wept bitterly, clenching her chest. She had wanted revenge, but not like this. Not Ade, not the man she loved. She fell to the floor, her cries echoing through the house. The love of her life, torn between loyalty and truth, had destroyed everything in one night. In her grief, Beatrice whispered, the blood of the past has claimed them all, and now I am left with nothing. Lessons from the story. This story teaches us that the decision we make today can echo for generations to come. Chief Olawale thought he secured power, but the blood he spilled became a curse that swallowed his entire household. Evil may hide for a while, but truth never dies. No matter how long it takes, what is buried in darkness will always rise to the light. Parents' choices shape the destiny of their children. Chief Olawale's hunger for power forced his son into a battle he was never meant to fight. And in that battle, Ade destroyed himself. And above all, it reminds us that power built on blood is power built on sound. No matter how strong it looks, one day it will crumble, leaving behind only pain, ashes, and regret. Forgiveness may be heavy, but it saves the heart. Vengeance may feel sweet, but it destroys everything in its path. Thank you, my amazing family, for staying with me through this powerful story. Stories like this reminds us that life is fragile. Choices have consequences, and love can be tested in the hardest of ways. I don't take your time for granted. You being here means the world to me. Every view, every comment, every subscription is not just support. It is a sign that we are walking this journey together. So if this story touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, talk about it, and let the lessons spread far and wide. And before you leave, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell because more life-changing stories are on the way. Remember, together, we are more than an audience. We are a family of dreamers, learners, and believers in the power of storytelling. From my heart to yours, I love you all, and may God bless you richly. Until next time, stay safe, stay inspired, and keep the lessons alive in your heart.